Hi, it's Dr. Pam Jarbo, and I'm back with the third installment of our marketing videos. And today's installment is about handling objections. And this is such an important part of marketing and highly overlooked. Um, so my prop today, as you can see in the background, is a meditating Buddha, because I want you to hold a thought in your head as we have this video that objections are just questions. And so I want you to stay calm when people have objections to care, because sometimes what happens is an unconscious argument, like you want to prove that they're wrong, when their objections are really just their, scary, defended self coming out and asking a question about how to create this relationship. And so maintaining a sense of humor and a sense of calm and an understanding that objections are really just questions disguised. And so I'm going to talk about the most common objections that I find to chiropractic care in working with chiropractic offices over the last couple of years. There are many more. There are many more objections, but these are the most common, and you can include them in your advertising and in your marketing when you start thinking about the message. When you think back to that very first video, we were talking about what was in people's heads. What do they want? How can chiropractic help them? This is another piece that we have to think about, is what are their objections and how do we overcome their objections even in the way we market. I think about their objections in the way we run our practice and also in my advertising. And so I'm going to cover the few. So if you've already printed out your handout, you can read along with me, or you can pause the video and print it out, or you can just watch my video and print it out later and even add some more. I would say this is a great training tool for you and your staff. Over the next month, keep that sheet somewhere in the practice where you can just have access to it easily and jot down things that people say, like my Aunt Sally says such and such, or my doctor says so and so, or I do yoga, so I don't need this, or whatever things that you hear as people's objections, and especially the things that bug you and bug your staff. Write them down, because one of the things that you can do that will incredibly help your practice is to find a kind and clear way to have a conversation about whatever objections that they are having. And so the first one is time. Time and money are the top two. And so when I think about time and the objection of time, there's a few things that come to me. And one is that I like to have people in my practice who are very busy people give testimonials. And I like to say to them, what would you say to someone who says they don't have time? And then this person can answer that question really clearly and way better than I ever could. And they're going to speak in a voice that the person on the other end totally gets. They are their type of people. So in your marketing, you can actually ask the question to overcome the objections. What would you say to someone who says this is too expensive? What would you say to someone who says this isn't I don't have the time? And so one of my practice members, so brilliantly, very busy lawyer, travels a lot, highly successful person, said this is the best investment of time that she has ever found, because she is more productive, she's more focused, she's more rested, she doesn't get sick as often, she doesn't get injured carrying her stuff on and off the plane, so she actually gains time from coming to our office. Awesome testimonial. And you can include that in articles, and you can find ways of sharing that with other people, because it surely is often an experience that people have. Another thing that I do procedurally is that I make it a commitment in our office to not keep people waiting. I work hard at that. I can't always control it, but that is something that is in our office policies and procedures that we tell patients when they come in. I respect their time. I can't always control how things play out in the office, but if there is a time problem, we work very hard to fix it for that person. We ask them to talk to us if they're in a rush, and so we try to make accommodations for people who have time issues and not exacerbate it by being inefficient. And so that's something for you to think about also, that it could be a legitimate complaint. If you're keeping people waiting for 45 minutes to an hour, that time complaint is actually pretty accurate, and there's something that you could do to contribute. Money is the other sometimes objection that people will have to care. And again, it's easy to get offended about this, and some people would just be angry and be like, this person doesn't value me and they don't value chiropractic. And it's important to be able to just stay calm and have a conversation about it. Again, I love to have people in my practice talk to other people and say, what would you say to someone who thinks that they can't afford it? And then that person just shares, this is the best investment. You invest in your health, you invest in your wealth. We also include those kinds of messages on our Facebook posts and in our newsletters. And it's just such an important idea that if you don't pay now, you end up paying later. You invest now, you get the rewards and the dividends later. And so those are great concepts to introduce in different ways in the office. The other thing that you can do procedurally is clearly post your fees. Make sure people understand whether or not you take insurance, what you do if you don't take insurance, do you give them bills, what are the fees for them, what can they expect, so that you eliminate an intention or a negativity about money, that it's all just very clear, that your staff has an easy time talking about the finances in the office, so that eliminates attention. The third thing that I hear often is that chiropractic is scary and that people get hurt. And so it's important that we be able to overcome this. Again, your patients will be the best people to speak about this. If you know people who got scared, if you can ask them to say that, to say, I was very scared to come here, and then I came and found out incredibly how effective and gentle and great the experience was here. It's important that we talk about what the experience is like. So again, procedurally, what I do in our office, in our new patient visit, is before I do anything, when I sit down with the patient, I tell them what's going to happen. So today I'm going to review your history, and in a few minutes I'll begin the chiropractic exam. And what that exam looks like is, and then we'll have you go face down on the table. I ask permission if they would like to have an adjustment when it's time for them to have an adjustment. I ask permission for that, and then I explain what an adjustment is. And so those are all things that make people feel safer and eliminate their objections about it being scary. So there are certain things you can do in your testimonials and your marketing to explain to people procedures, but then there are things in the office that you can do to implement that lowers their resistance or reduces that objection. The other one that is often common is, I don't buy it. I think I'm beyond repair, or I don't really get it. It doesn't make sense to me, or my family members don't get it. So it's important here that you give them the information that they need in order to make an educated decision. Sometimes I do say to people, it's not for everyone. That eliminates trying to push them into any different category. And this isn't for everyone. But, here is what I experience in my practice, and here's the information I can offer you about that experience. And definitely your family member is willing, very open to call us. They're free to do that, to call us, to come in and have this report with you. And we want to share with your family what's happening here so they can support you in getting well. And so those are different procedural things that you can do to overcome objections. So from this video, it's important to take this straight on, take their objections, understand them, be able to talk about them, make sure your staff feels comfortable to talk about them, because on some unconscious level, we feel like an objection is a rejection and a chance to fight or defend or run away. And none of those things need to happen. A deeper conversation needs to happen. And so stay calm and carry on. Print this form out, put it in the office for your staff, put it at your station so you can start to really hear what the objections are and figure out your calm and clear answer to those objections. Go out and do great things in the world. Pretty soon you'll be getting an invitation to a live Google Hangout event that I'm going to be having next week. I look forward to seeing you there and sharing more great information with you. Thanks for all you do in the world.